This is day 7 of Advent of Cyber 2023, and this challenge is called "'Tis the Season for Log Chopping." To take revenge for the company demoting him to regional manager during the acquisition, Tracy McGreedy installed the Cryptoid Miner, a malware he downloaded from the dark web, on all workstations and servers. Even more worrying and unknown to McGreedy, this malware includes a data stealing functionality, which the malware author benefits from. The malware has been executed, and now a lot of unusual traffic is being generated. What's more, a large bandwidth of data is seen to be leaving the network. Forensic McBlue assembles a team to analyze the proxy logs and understand the suspicious network traffic. The learning objectives. In this task, we'll be focusing on the following vital learnings to assist Forensic McBlue in uncovering the potential incident. Revisiting log files and their importance, understanding what a proxy is and breaking down the contents of a proxy log, building Linux command line skills to pass log entries manually, and analyzing a proxy log based on typical use cases. Log primer. Before analyzing a dataset of proxy logs, let's first revisit what logs are. A log file is like a digital tray of what's happening behind the scenes in a computer or software application. It records important events, actions, errors, or information as they happen. It helps diagnose problems, monitor performance, and record what a program or application is doing. For clarity, let's look at a quick example. Looking at this, I'd say this is IP address that is making a request to a server. This is the date time that occurred on. This is the path that they were trying to access. This is the protocol they were using. This is the response they got. Not sure what these are, but this is what they were using to make the request. And as you can see, source IP address, timestamp, HTTP request, status code, and that's the user agent is what you would call it, what makes the request. Being able to interpret a log entry allows you to contextualize the events, whether for debugging purposes or for hunting potential threat activity. What is a proxy server? Since the data to be analyzed is a proxy log, we must understand a proxy server. A proxy server is an intermediary between your computer or device and the internet. When you request information or access a web page, your device connects to the proxy server instead of connecting directly to the target server. The proxy server then forwards your request to the internet, receives a response, and sends it back to your device. To visualize this, refer to the diagram below. As you can see, the proxy is the one that handles your request to the internet, and then also handles the request from the internet back to you. A proxy server offers enhanced visibility into network traffic and user activities. Since it logs all web requests and responses, this enables system administrators and security analysts to monitor which websites users access, when and how much bandwidth is used. It also allows administrators to enforce policies and block specific websites or content categories. Given that our task is hunting suspicious activity on the proxy log, we need to know what possible malicious activity can be seen inside one. Let's elaborate on a few common examples of malicious activities. Download attempt on a malicious binary. An indicator for that is a connection to a known malicious URL, such as evil.com/malicious.exe. Data exfiltration, which the indicator for that would be a high count of outbound bandwidth due to a file upload, e.g. connection to OneDrive. And the last example technique is continuous command and control connection. A high count of outbound connections to a single domain in regular intervals, e.g. connections every 5 minutes to a single domain. For this challenge, we'll be needing to start up the VM, which is at the top here, and the green button. While that loads up, let's continue reading. We must understand the log contents to work on the dataset provided. To make things fun, let's start playing with it by clicking the Start Machine button at the top right corner of the task. This machine will start in a split view. If the virtual machine isn't visible, use the blue Show Split View button at the top right of the page. Because we don't see that, we will go to the top here and Show Split View. The VM contains a proxy log in the home Ubuntu desktop artifacts directory named access.log. You can verify this by clicking the terminal icon on the desktop and executing the following command: cd desktop artifacts, then ls-lah, and you'll see every file including hidden ones, but as you can see that, you can see access.log. Here is a section on different Linux commands which will be useful. Let's see. Cat command just outputs all of the text in a file. The less command allows you to view the contents of a file one page at a time. Okay, that's right. Cat outputs everything to the terminal, while less gives you a page view so you can go through pages of it. Head-n1 would show the first line. Tail-n1 will show you the very last line. WC is for word count, WC-L file. It says there's 49,000 lines in the file. and then NL, number lines. It renders the contents of the file in a numbered line format. Okay, so we'll close that back up, and as our terminal's open, we will open that up, cd, where was the location? Desktop artifacts. So desktop artifacts, ls. There's no need to do this flag in this case, as it's just a regular file, so just ls by itself will show it to you. Dropping down the proxy log, LogMcBlue tells us that he has configured the Squid proxy server to use the following log format: timestamp, source IP, domain port, domain and then port, HTTP method, URI, status code, response size, user agent. Let's use one of the log entries as an example and compare it to the format above. So we've got the timestamp here, source IP, domain, then port, we've got HTTP method, URI, status code, response size, and then this large bit is the user agent, and it goes over that there. As you can see in the table above, we can break the log entry down and assign a position to each value so that it can be easily interpreted. Now let's continue by using another Linux command line tool to split the log entries per column. This is the cut command. The cut command allows you to extract specific sections, columns of lines from a file or input stream by cutting the line into columns based on a delimiter and selecting which columns to display. This can be done using the -D option for delimiter and -F for position. Example below uses spaces delimiter and only displays the timestamp column 1. So cut -D, split the line based on spaces, and we want to see the first column, and that is the timestamp. So in this example, we're now doing columns 1 through 6, which you can see here. So at this time, this domain was accessed and it got a 200 or OK response. Lastly, the space delimiter won't work if you plan to use the user agent column, since its value may contain a space, just like in the example log. Given this, you must change the delimiter and select column number 2, because the user agent is enclosed with double quotes. So we use double quotes as the delimiter, and then using the second column, we're grabbing everything that's inside of these two double quotes. Linux pipes. In the previous section, we introduced some Linux commands that will be useful for investigation. To utilize all these commands and produce an output that can provide meaningful information, we can use Linux pipes. In Linux or Unix-like operating systems, a pipe, this character, is a way to connect two or more commands to make them work together seamlessly. It allows you to take the output of one command and use it as the input for another command. We'll introduce more commands by going through some use cases. Get the first 5 connections made by 10.10.140.96. So we can also do this with a combination of grep and head. So what I'd do, grep access log, and we wanted 10.10.140.196. Then we pipe that to head-n, and we wanted 5. Okay, I might have actually got that wrong way around. Might be the pattern first and then the file. So IP address and then access.log. And there we go, we got the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where all has the same IP address. So get the list of unique domains accessed by all workstations. To do this, we'll combine sort and unique commands with the cut command. Sort is a Linux command used to sort the lines of text files or input streams in ascending or descending order, while the unique command allows you to filter out and display unique lines from a sorted file or input stream. Note, the unique command requires a sorted list to be effective because it only compares the adjacent lines. To achieve our goal, we'll start by getting the domain column and removing the port. When we have the list of domains, we'll sort it and get the unique list using sort and unique command. So as it said, first we're going to be getting the domain, so cut -d space, then we're getting the third column because that's what it is in the log, access.log, and I'll print that just so we can take a look. So this is the domain with the port, but as we want only the domain, we will pipe this into another cut, but this time we are going to be using the colon as the delimiter and only getting the first one. So if we take a look at that, it's now just the domain. So now that we've done that, we can pipe it into sort, so all the domains one after the other in a sorted order. As you can see, there was a lot of domains there, and now we pass that into unique, which will then go through and just retrieve all the unique domains, and like it has done so. Display the connection count made on each domain. We already have the list of unique domains based on our previous use case. Now we only need to add some parameters to our commands to get the count of each domain access. This can be done by adding the -c option to unique command. So if we do -c, it now includes a count of how many times these domains appeared. Moreover, the result can be sorted again based on the count of each domain by using the -n option of the sort command. To go over what this command does again, in the log we're splitting by space, grabbing the third column, which is the domain with port. We're then splitting it with colon and getting only the domain apart from it. We're sorting all the domains. We are making all the domains unique and including a count for it. Then we're sorting it again using the number, which will then sort n. Now I've got a list of lowest to highest. So based on the result, you can see that the count of connections made for each domain is sorted in ascending order. If you want to make the output appear in descending order, use the -r option. Or you can just join it together as nr, which if we do here, now top is higher down to lowest. So hunting down the malicious traffic. Now that we've developed the skills needed to assist Forensic with Blue, let's get down to business. To start hunting for malicious traffic, let's try to list the top domains accessed by the users and see if the users accessed any unusual domains. You can do this by reusing the previous command to retrieve the connection, count for each domain, and tail 10 to get the last 10 items. So in this case we are doing the same command, except we're not doing descending order, but we are now just only getting the tail end of it. So these are the top 10 most accessed websites, and the one that stands out is frostlings.bigbagstash.thm. So upon checking the list, request made to the redacted domain, we see something unusual with the string passed to the goodies parameter. Let's try to retrieve the data by cutting the request URI with equals as its delimiter. So we're going to be going through all the request, but specifically looking for frostlings.bigbagstash.thm, and it's on the access log. We will then be piping that into cut, and the delimiter is space, and we're getting column 5. Then we are cutting delimiter equals, and the second one, column in that. Although it's probably useful if we see what that actually is. I can't remember what this column is. Okay, so it's looking at the path that it went to. And as you can see, we're going to a storage path, and goodies is a whole heap of different IDs. So based on the format, the data sent seems to be encoded with base 64. Using this theory, we can try to decode the strings by piping the output to a base 64 command. So we will rerun the previous one where it only has the base 64. We'll pipe that to base 64. My output seems to be a bit different from theirs. Actually, did I do the command correctly? -d, decode. There we go. So we now got a whole list of things. So did you notice that the decoded data seems to be sensitive data for Antarcticagraphs? This might be a case of data exfiltration. So in conclusion, you have completed the investigation through log analysis and uncovered the stolen data. The next step for Forensic McBlue's team in this incident is to apply mitigation steps like blocking the malicious domain to prevent any further impact. How many unique IP addresses are connected to the proxy server? So if we go through that, let's bring up the previous command we had. Actually, I can't remember what the format is. So let's look at this. So okay, we want the second one. So we'll start off with cut -d space delimiter -f2. Actually, I should be cat access log and then piping into it. So let's make sure we got that all correct. Yep, so all the IP addresses, cancel that. And then what was the command? Unique. So how many unique IP addresses are connected to the proxy server? So these are the unique ones. And what was? Did they give us a command for how, like, the total amount? I think there was a command for lines, which sounds like what we would want. Was that NL? Okay, so I'm going to assume that number 30,000 is correct. So we will go back down here, and how many unique IP addresses are connected to the proxy server? Maybe I misunderstood the log format. Oh no, it's coming up as duplicates. Why is that? I thought I did unique on it. So let's go back here. Oh, it's because I forgot to sort it. So I guess that's a good lesson in why you need to sort it first. 9. So 9 submit, and that's correct. How many unique domains were accessed by all workstations? So that was basically the same one. Probably go to, I think it was the 5th column. No, that looks like the 3rd one. So let's do that quickly. That's going to include the IP address. The port. but as there's a possibility another port gets used, we will also cut -D, then F1 and 118. Okay, what mistake did I make? I forgot to pipe the original one. There we go. Okay, 111. There we go. What is the status code generated by the HTTP request to the least access domain? What status code is generated? Okay, so we need to go back to this, and we'll do count, and that will be sort N, and was it ND for descending? What was descending? NR. So partner services, get microsoftkeys.com. So we will grep this and access log. We will now cut delimiter space, and we want the status code, which column is that? Might be column 4. Nope. Oh, column 5 maybe. Nope, column 6. There we go. So column 6, we'll then sort it, we'll then unique. Okay, 503 is the only one that it got. So based on the high count of connection attempts, what is the name of the suspicious domain? I can't remember what it was already. So I need to go back and find... Okay, there we go. So suspicious domain is frostlings.bigbadstash.thm. And what is the source IP? So we can grep on that, cut on this, and it should be second column, I think. And there we go, we've got the IP, 10.10.185.225. There you go. And how many requests were made on the malicious domain in total? We can just quickly do unique count, 1581. And having retrieved the exfiltrated data, what is the hidden flag? Did we get a flag? Okay, I might need to find the Frostlings one again. And then we're gonna grep that THM. No? THM, like that. Okay, I need to grep THM. Oh, I saw it just there a second. There we go. Okay, it's capital letters. That's why it wasn't working. So, THM, a gift for you, awesome, and a list. And that is Day 7 of Advent of Cyber completed. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you can watch me complete the rest of Advent of Cyber 2023.